Hello, everyone. I know this is, well, it's not unexpected. I post a video once a month, twice a month if I'm lucky, but I am trying to make this one video on a deck known as Monarchs, and yeah, that's cooking in the background. However, if you are actively playing Genesys, you must have heard about the point system update on the list. And as you see, Droll and Lock Bird is now at 25 points. So, goddamn. However, I know a lot of people who actively used Droll and Lock Bird might be bummed out because now their opponents are going to be digging through their deck as much as possible, and I figured, you know what, let me kind of add some help, or maybe grant some ideas on what they may get inspired on using. But just so you know, if you're looking for a substitute for Droll and Lock Bird, Deck Lockdown won't be it because it's 100 points, and Prohibition won't be it because it's also 100 points. So I just thought I'd get that out of the way. For now, Droll and Lock Bird is no more, but if you're still willing to use it, good luck. But here are some ideas that you can use that might give you a chance to maybe slow down your opponent's momentum, so that way when it's your turn, you might be able to do a few things. So for starters, Ash Blossom is still a 15-point card that you can use, and it doesn't have to be the full max. You can use one or maybe two. That's a total of 30. 30 just to give yourself enough, maybe extra cards to use. You're just gonna have to figure that out. However, if you feel like that won't be it, we got ourselves Nibiru. You can try using Nibiru, and this is going to be a little tricky because based on how you use Nib might pay off. So if you know they're going to make a monster that's going to negate stuff, mostly in hand too, you might want to disrupt their board before they get there and just hope and pray that they don't make anything and get that momentum back. So Nib's a good option. Or if you know that they're going to negate your magic or traps or monsters that need to be on the field but not from the hand, you can wait. And by the time we get to end of main, bust Nibiru out and just watch them get really frustrated. But then, of course, you have the worry of trying to get rid of that token. So once you activate Nib with that big token, please come up with a plan to get rid of that token, because if you can't get rid of it, then maybe Nibiru won't be it, which is why we got the Ghost Girls. Spooky Dog this might be it, because you know she has this unique effect where you can get life points. That's an option. However, my favorite one, Ghost Spell, she can actually close down cards that activate from the graveyard by adding stuff from graveyard to hand, special summoning cards from the graveyard, or you can stop your opponent from banishing cards from the graveyard. So if you're playing against a deck that banishes stuff or gets stuff from the graveyard to the hand or to the field, she's it. Ghost Ogre is another good option, but please be mindful on how you use it, because just because it destroys doesn't mean it negates. I know there's some cards out there that misses timing when destroyed, but there's a lot that still go through even when it's destroyed. But you know, you can destroy their face up cards like their continuous spells and field spells. So that's something you can do, but the monster effect needs to be active. So, or a spell or trap. So that's another good option. The most niche one is Ghost Mourner, where you have to activate this card by discarding it, and you target one monster on the field, and despite the effects being negated, if it leaves the field, they take life point damage based on the monster's attack. So this was a very popular one last year when Gimmick Puppets with their new support was popping off. So you bring out something that's 25 or higher, you activate this, negate it, and they take some life point damage. But I'm pretty sure you just want to stop your opponents from searching. Well, you're not going to do anything about that, but you can stop monster effects with Effect Veiler. Now, this card effect, you just need to negate it. You need to negate the monster effect, and you can do it more than once. I don't see a once per turn on here, so go nuts with it. If you draw 2 or 3, just remember it needs to be on their turn to activate it. And if you're stuck with it, next turn you can use it as a tuner. Maybe that's not your game plan, but this is a good option. It's 7 points. It's that's just how it is, man. Effect Failure might be it. Or if you're worried about other hand traps countering Effect Failure, or worse, Call by the Grave, if people are using it, because I know I am, you can go with Imperm. Imperm's another popular choice you can use. And what's cool is that you can also use it to not only negate monster effects, but magic and traps if it's aligned at that column and you've already set it beforehand. So next turn they play a monster and they play a chain link at 2 with a spell or trap, and if it's aligned at that column, you go speed spell 3 and you negate that monster effect while negating that magic or trap. If you're looking for cards that are free points, Skullmeister's one. It's a poor man's version of Ash Blossom. Only this time, it only has the one effect, negating cards that's in the graveyard. But if you want some crazy removal, DD Crow is it, and if you draw all 3 into this, you can just activate all 3 of them if you can, and whatever card they mill to the graveyard, that's it. You go DD Crow and they won't be able to retrieve that card or whatever. If you're going first and you really want to stop your opponent from drawing, Mistaken Arrest is it. You activate it on your opponent's turn and they can't add, and then if it's your turn, you're good. Or if you do it on turn 1, I don't know why you would want to activate it on turn 1. You activate it, you go, and they can't add, and when it's your turn, you'll be able to. But most people would activate it on your opponent's turn. What I'm basically saying is this card will shut down your opponent's turn, and once it's your turn, you'll be able to add again. I hope that's how it works. Please correct me in the comment section, for I never used this card. I bought it, I added it on my side deck, but for some strange reason, I never got the opportunity to use it because Droll and Lock Bird was way better. But this is your only option for your replacement of Droll and Lock Bird. But that's if you draw it, and it's a quick play spell. So be that as your may. Now, if your opponent has monsters already, or magics or traps, or whatever, these 3 cards might be an option. So hear me out. When it comes to breaking boards, Dark Ruler No More is it. The only downside, you won't be able to inflict battle damage, but if you get rid of the board and you be able to pop off, This is it right here. And it's free. No points. God, I sound like those stupid ass mobile game ads. This game is free. No fake ads. God. But this is it right here. Dark Ruler no more. Free points. You activate this thing, and they won't be able to activate their Omni Negates. And they can't respond to it unless they have a counter trap. But if you feel like they have a counter trap, hey Trunade, this card is free. Now it does the same thing as Giant Trunade, so I don't know why this is not pointed. So yeah, man. Free points. And this is only for Xseed cards only. But if you run into a heavy Xseed deck, Xseed Encore is another thing you can do. All it does is, you know, detaches all the materials, returns the extra deck, the Xseed monster back to the extra deck, and based on how many materials it has, it special summons everything back. And yeah, like I said, there's no response. Neither players can't activate any of the cards based on Xseed Encore. So there you go. So, oh yeah, and their levels are reduced too. I forgot about that little niche part. If they have a special summoning effect and they add, then so be it. But you got rid of their cards, so you're pretty much ready to go to get rid of their boss monsters or whatever. And if you have Imperm and you negated that effect, you go Xseed Encore and bam, that's it. So it's a good card. Hell, you know, go up against Raziels, for an example. You activate that and they can't pop. They have to sit there and detach everything. So, good card. Finally, this is like one of my niches. I never got the opportunity to use it, but someday. And that's Mischief of the Gnomes. You set it, and once it's your opponent's turn, you just reduce their hands. You reduce the monster's levels in their hands by 1. And even when they summon it, and that's it. And if it's in the graveyard, you do it again. So it's good. And if you can make this work, let me know. But until then, this is just something I wanted to talk about. But overall, those are all the cards that can give you an idea on what to do when it comes to replacing Droll and Lock Bird. 25 points is a huge hit. I was hoping 15 or 20, but 25 was the magic number for the Genesys list, and damn, that kind of hurts. So yeah, let me know what you think. And I'll see you in the next one. This was a short video, unscripted, unplanned. But you know, everyone's complaints about Droll and Lock Bird or praises inspired me to make this video to give everyone an idea on what they can replace for Droll and Lock Bird, because there's still some good hand traps out there. There might even be some niche cards that I don't even know about that's out there. I didn't even mention Kaijus yet. Kaijus is an option to break boards. Hell, the card I'm looking at right now, this card is an option, and it's free points. Same thing goes with was it Santa Claus? That's a free card that you can use. You know, Chaos Hunter. This is a free card that stops opponents from banishing cards. I don't know if the artifact cards got hit. Let me just look this up real quick. Artifact. Yeah, besides this, you can still use Lancia. That stops banished cards. And I don't know if the hammer card is on here, but if it is, yeah, it is. Oh, Jesus. Hell, if you want to be toxic and stop your opponents from special summoning, This is the card right here. But still, you know, that's an option. You can do that too. And I think the Omega cards. All right, so here we go. This is another choice too. Gamma is one. Delta is another, but I think, yeah, Delta is another. Epsilon, I don't know about Epsilon. Maybe just these two cards, yeah. And even though this is cheaper, it still shares that downside of having Driver in your hand or in the deck, but you need to run one. Meanwhile, you run 2 or 3 of these, or just 2 or 1, unfortunately. But those are the options. I'm sorry I wasted time, but that's just how the game is. We're just gonna have to play the game differently, and more importantly, we have to adapt to the current state of this game. So that's it. I hope this inspired you, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.